No, MaNa, he was around back in the day, back when, or he's one of the oldest pro gamers, I feel. I say oldest pro gamers. I mean, he's been around for a very long time. Since Wings of Liberty, MaNa has been competing. And we have his opponent, though. We do have his opponent spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Oceanborn. We have our red Polish Protoss player representing Team Blazer. It is Krystianer. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the blue Protoss player representing Team Liquid. It is the old guard, the veteran himself. It is MaNa. Unlike Nurtio, MaNa never retired. MaNa never retired. He's been around since the beginning of time. He's been competing. And for a long time, I mean, for a while, he was the best player in all of Poland. Let's be real. He was the best in Poland. That title has since been stripped away. And even nowadays, I mentioned before that I have a really hard time judging MaNa compared to the other Polish Protoss players, just because MaNa very rarely competes in these events. In these Polish events, we see a Laser, we see Spirit, we see Krystianer, Papi, Geralt, they all go back and forth. MaNa is a little bit less active in these online regional tournaments, in these online Polish tournaments, or even offline Polish tournaments. So I'm happy to see him here. It's great to see him partake. And can he keep up with some of the newer generation of Polish Protoss players? I'm talking about Krystianer and Geralt. Like, nowadays, I feel like maybe they've surpassed MaNa, but I said before, it's hard to judge. So I'm curious. I want to see how they compare to each other. Let's go. Let us go. As we're getting into a 2-gate opener here from MaNa, double gate opener out of Krystianer. So far, mirrored builds. I'm catching up in the chat. How do you feel casting someone that is already called Papi? If I try to say Papi less when I'm casting him, because I'm sure you know, but Papi is a part of my regular vocabulary, right? Like it's just something that I say, like not even like just for casting, but like in general, like I just to a random person, to people out there, like I just say it a lot. So specifically when I cast Papi, I try to intentionally limit myself, because otherwise the word just loses meaning and it's just confusing. So it is a challenge whenever I cast Papi, because I have to like intentionally hold back and speak in a slightly different way. So yeah, it's a fun fact. To be fair, it's the same with all players that have a similar name. We did the same thing when casting Time. Back when Oliveira, before he name changed, when he was called Time, I remember both Yaku and I intentionally avoiding the word time when casting him. Otherwise, it would just again lose meaning, and it would just be a jumbled mess. So we'd have to intentionally, like, you could hear it whenever we casted Time as well. Like we would pause at a weird moment and just like think of a different word to use, like stuff like that. I think Time is the best example for that, just because it's such a common word that we'd use. So it's similar to that. For me at least. As we're going to be coming in with a Sentry opener, going for a Scout. MaNa did opt to go for a Twilight Council before, or a Twilight Council opener into Blink. Likewise, Krystianer, he did delay his Twilight Council a little bit further. Oh wait, no, my apologies. Is actually lined up just like his opponent. So, despite that little rant, despite the little ramble, mirrored builds. It is going to be just a 2-gate opener into an expansion, into a Twilight Council, into Blink. Everything is as it should be, as we do catch the Adepts. Ooh, Adepts are caught out. So a very nice catch here from Krystianer, shuts down both Adepts. That means he has nothing to worry about when it comes to defending back at home. He can be a little bit more lax about walling off at the ramp. And he's going to be threatening his own shade across the map instead, being very active. Now, he can make a choice. Krystianer, he could expand and take a third as he's being active, or he could double down. But now, threatening more shades. He's going to be pulling back Adepts. They don't quite make it into the main. Going to be reinforcing with more Stalkers. Oh, as Krystianer, he outpositions MaNa, gets a kill on one of those Stalkers. And a second as well. trading 2 for 1. A better trade for Krystianer again, just catching MaNa on the low ground or under that ramp. And again, continuing to defend those shades. We can commit. 2 adepts, they one-shot probes. They get 1. They go up, they get a second and soon to be a 3rd probe as well. Ooh, barely don't. But good damage dealt. And overall, Krystianer, he's been in the driver's seat. He's getting his 3rd base up and running behind this. So he's up on bases. And MaNa, yeah, just now throws down his own 3rd. So MaNa 1 step behind here. Overall, coming out worse for her when it comes to the overall probe trade and stalker trade. And 3rd base timing. Now, what I should emphasize though is that even though MaNa is 1 step behind, it's only 1 step. Like, it's not too far behind. We can still keep up. We can still maintain ourselves. Krystianer has a slight lead overall, as MaNa is actually going to be making up for that with some immortals. Okay, I do appreciate the immortal production. Basically, even if your opponent is up on stalkers, an immortal will help with that. The immortal, it will make up for like a 3, 4, 5 stalker deficit. So it can make up for an overall supply loss. As we take down the Observer, we're stabilizing on 3 bases. More immortals are on the way. Krystianer, instead of investing into immortals, we're headed towards charge. We have charge in production instead. So a very gateway heavy composition, going blink stalkers into charge lots. Hallucination Scout will confirm. Does get eyes on the researching upgrade here, and it should be charge. So MaNa knows. Upon seeing this, MaNa, he could tech straight into Archons. We could just skip Zealots and go straight into Archons to counter them. Stalker run by being set up. Krystianer not too far behind. And Krystianer, he was the first to take his 3rd. He's the first to take his 4th. 4th base is getting up and running. MaNa just now saturating his own 3rd. So Krystianer extending his economic lead. Does extend it. And the pressure is on MaNa right now. The pressure is on to try to gain some value. I mean, with Blink Stalkers, we can outposition, and Krystianer, he moves out just at the wrong moment. And MaNa moves in. MaNa moves in, he gets 3 probe kills. And a Zealot, forced to recall, will bleed out one of those Stalkers, a second Stalker. A bit of a tit for tat. MaNa gets 3 probes for 2 Stalkers. It's an okay trade. Bearing in mind that Krystianer already had a probe lead and has the base lead as well. Meanwhile, that immortal count, it's getting quite high. That's a lot of immortals here from MaNa. We're up to 4. We're building up quite a terrifying army, and if we don't have enough Zealots, I do want to favor MaNa. Only if we don't have enough Zealots. If we can go for another big warp in, then Krystianer, he will have a more efficient army. Zealots, they do amazingly when it comes to tanking immortal shots and tanking stalker shots. They're there to soak damage. Here we go, we're collapsing the army. Good force fields. Very nice force fields here from MaNa. Did trigger the overcharge though. That was a bit premature. As we're waiting at the overcharge. We are pushing in. Force fields are down once again. Zealot's having a hard time engaging. And Krystianer, he just cannot break this. Has to pull back once again. Very nice force fields from MaNa once again. But they're running out. The force fields are running out. Now we can collapse on top of the armor. We focus down the immortal. We got 1 immortal. There's 3 left. And Krystianer, he just has an overwhelming army. He's snowballing out of control. Good juggling out of MaNa. But more Zealots arrive. And Krystianer, just the Zealot composition, just doing so well here. We had some good force fields. But again, the economic lead translated into an army lead. And Krystianer is snowballing out of control. He snipes the Prism. There's 1 immortal left. And now there's none. GG gets called. Krystianer takes game number 1. GG. Very nicely played there by Krystianer. Mentioned it earlier that Krystianer, he had some slight leads early on, and it did snowball into having a better economy, which meant a larger army. And again, he was able to hit a pretty strong timing there. I mentioned earlier that I did like the immortal count that MaNa was working with, and he was doing quite well with it initially, but there were just so many Zealots, too many to deal with. And without any Archons or Zealots of our own, we can't really keep up with that. The force fields, they could only hold on for so long. Only for so long there. As Krystianer snowballs out of control, and with that, we're getting into game number 2. I understand the purpose of Immortals now. I mean, again, they're good against Blinkstalker heavy compositions, but like that's why in PvP you often sprinkle in and get out of pure Blinkstalker and into Zealots. Zealots have their own role, and usually if you get into Zealots, then it forces out Archons, because Archons, they're amazing against Zealots. And then you get into Disruptors, and then, then you just keep on going. It's how PvP evolves over time, but here we go. We're getting into game number 2, and spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have our red Polish Protoss player representing Team Blazer. Again, one of the newer faces on the scene. I say newer in comparison to his opponents. One of the more modern pros. It is Krystianer. And in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the veteran himself, even dabbling his hand in Stormgate, you know, competing in show matches, and of course, never letting go of StarCraft. Been around for a very long time, a legend in his own right. Representing Team Liquid, it is MaNa. And even though Krystianer was able to take game 1 and was able to capitalize and get these early leads, like these small little leads here and there, I want to believe that MaNa can force an ace match. I want to believe that MaNa can take it to Krystianer. Again, fun fact, it was not too long ago. It was a couple of weeks ago where we casted ESL Open Cup Europe. We casted ESL Open Cup Europe and we casted MaNa in that tournament, and he beat Gabe. He was able to bring down Gabe in a TVP. It was very impressive that he knocked Gabe out of ESL Open Cup Europe. This was 2 weeks ago now. I say 3 weeks ago. It was like around 2 to 3 weeks ago. So again, MaNa showing that even against the best Terrans in Europe, or the best players in Europe, MaNa can still go toe-to-toe and still dance with them. But PvP is a different beast. The sad truth is that PvP is a very different beast. There's a lot of mind games, there's a lot of aggression, there's a lot of micro, there's just a very intense matchup. And this is a part of it. So Krystianer, he goes for a proxy gateway. Now, MaNa, he scouts, and he sees that the pylon is missing. He knows that the pylon is not where it should be. It's a fake pylon. He scouts! He does confirm, and it's a proxy robo. It's not fake, by the way. It's a real one base all in. And MaNa is preparing back at home. Big scout. He delays his expansion, goes for the Stargate. And we'll see if MaNa can do his best Max Pax impression, because we need Void Rays. We can go Oracle first, then into Void Rays, depending on how greedy we want to be. We're going to need Void Rays, we're going to need Shield Batteries. We're going to need to defend. Oh, MaNa, he made the first Zealot. No shot, he's already focusing down that pylon. It's already under fire. Krystianer, can he save it? I don't think he can. A disastrous start here by Krystianer. Again, really good scouting out of MaNa. Really good of just shutting down this proxy. The pylon falls. We have a backup probe, a backup pylon on the way, but it's going to get spotted. Across the map, Krystianer, he will shade in. Oh. As we do wall off behind it. Secondary wall thrown down. Adepts, they do not make it into the main base. Pylon is on the way. We're going Oracle first. Bold move here out of MaNa, but he should be feeling confident. The all-in is late. The all-in is delayed, so we may as well go Oracle first. The purpose of this Oracle is to get across the map and harass. It's to harass here in the main base. Krystianer, he sees the Oracle. We're going for the Shield Battery. Shield Battery will keep the mineral line safe for now. The Robo is done. War Prism is on the way. The purpose of this War Prism is to bypass the wall and get these Adepts into the main base, into a mineral line. Mate, Adepts, they can wreak havoc if they're given just a mineral line full of probes. They can pop off. MaNa, he's fortifying his natural, but his main looking a bit exposed. Meanwhile, the Oracle moves out. Shield Battery is done just in time. We could go for the Stasis. Ooh, Stasis is focused down. Good control there out of Krystianer. Very quick moves. Did kill the Stasis. Adepts, they make it into the main base. And they will deny mining. Oh, they shade in towards the natural. Nothing quite to kill here. Only getting one probe. Good defense so far out of MaNa. Good defense so far. As we're building up towards two Stalkers, one more Adept. We do focus down quite a number of these probes. Yeah, 6, 7 probes going to be going down. Krystianer does take a worker lead. We still have that one Adept here at the natural. And we're following this up with a backup all-in. It's going to be a secondary all-in. We have Blink on the way, 2 more gateways. It's going to be Blink Stalker. But we see everything. Oh my god, this one probe. MaNa. He saw the gateway. He saw the researching Twilight Council. He should be aware. And he's going to confirm with the Oracle. So MaNa, he has all the information he needs. It's all about the execution. It's all about the defense. I do appreciate this. Shield battery in the main base. Now, the power of Blink Stalkers when it comes to an all-in is that because you have Blink... that stasis is going to be avoided. Because you have Blink, you can blink into the natural, or you can blink into the main. Like, you can blink up this cliff into the main base as well. So MaNa, he has to invest in his main with shield batteries. If he doesn't, then he may just die. That's the scary thing here about being the defending player. You have to prepare in both bases. Stalkers have arrived. Blink is done. And we're going to try and focus down that Void Ray. We do get some hull damage. We don't get a kill though. Oh! As we trigger the shields, that Immortal is going to be vulnerable. But the other Immortal is still with those shields. Still safe and sound. Krystianer, he does see the army. Sees the stasis trap. He's going to rotate over towards the main base. And we do get eyes on this. MaNa, he's keeping up. Revelation misses the Observer. And there's no coming back from this for Krystianer. Like, he has to commit. Triggers the shields once again. Ooh, barely within range of that Cybercore, and we can't touch this. Cybercore's going to go down. We have a force field. We catch an Immortal. Yeah, one Immortal gets caught. It's going to be focused on. We have the overcharge, and it keeps it alive. Clutch move there out of MaNa. Saving the Immortal. Now, what's scary here is that Stalker count. We have yet to lose a Stalker. Very nice control so far to Krystianer. Keeping every single Stalker alive. Oh, we can go for the force field on the ramp. Oh, wait. Sorry, I thought that was the sentry. We dive in. We get the Prism. Prism goes down. We're going for the Immortals as well. We get 1, we get 2. Oh, God, but they take so many hits, and it looks like we have defended. MaNa, he's holding. He's cleaning up the Stalkers. It cost him every Immortal, but there's almost nothing left. Again, you can see how tanky these Immortals are. They did their job. They may have died, but again, it was for a good cause here. GG gets called. We defend against the all-in, and MaNa ties up the series 1-1. GG. Again, Krystianer, maybe a little bit overconfident there after winning game 1. He's like, yo, I can cheese this old man out of here. Just make my way into the semis. Nah, Papi, no, you gotta respect MaNa here. Again, he does scout. He responds beautifully. Really good defense. Really solid game there out of MaNa. And with that, we find ourselves in the ace match. It's going to be the final game, and this could still go either way. This could still go the way of Krystianer or MaNa. We'll see who advances on. Who can make it to the semifinals? Fun fact, Aristery is lying in wait in the finals for the win of this series. Likewise, we have some other updates. It looks like Geralt took down Snogstar 2-1. Big shout out to Snogstar as he forced the ace match, but Geralt comes out on top. So we have our first semifinals, which is Papi versus Geralt, followed by Aristery and the winner of this series. The tournament well underway, and here we go. We're getting into game 3, and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have our red Protoss player representing Team Blazer being forced into the ace match after failing the all-in, after getting scouted. And what do we have in store for us here in game 3? It is Krystianer. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Polish Protoss player. The other Polish Protoss, the blue Protoss, representing Team Liquid. Surviving the all-in, defending, forcing the ace match, tying things up. Can he go the distance? It is MaNa. Here we go. As a reminder, Aristery is waiting for the win of the series. It's going to be a Protoss player, but which Protoss player? As the probes, they do pass by each other. Going to be scouting across the map. Keeping an eye on each other. We do see our gases being taken by Krystianer, going double gas. Likewise, MaNa doing the same. And this time we're going for a 2-gate opener. This time we should not be proxying our pylon, but we'll keep an eye on our players. If we decide to spice things up. Again, both MaNa and Krystianer just trying to keep tabs on each other. Basically, the goal of this probe is twofold. One is to scout whether or not the second pylon is proxied. The other is to confirm the first 2 units here from these gateways. There it is. Pylon has been thrown down in between the gases. Likewise, MaNa also throws down his pylon in between said gases as well. So no one is proxying, no one is cheesing, not yet. And both players confirm this, as they've both seen each other's second pylon. And now we're getting into our first 2 units of choice. We can go into double Adept, double Stalker, Stalker Sentry, or even Stalker Adept. And there it is, double Stalker out of Krystianer. Meanwhile, MaNa opening up Zealot Sentry. Very interesting. Okay, a pairing that we rarely see. As yeah, we're canceling the Zealots, going for a much faster Nexus. Very greedy build here. Very greedy build by Krystianer. Basically, he cuts a unit. Makes 1 sentry to scout with the hallucination. Very fast Nexus. So greedy opener out of MaNa. And Krystianer is going to be actually going for double Adept, not double Stalker. Okay, did switch his mind. Did change his mind. Now, because these Stalkers are delayed for MaNa, the Adepts should make it across the map. Yeah, as Adepts are revealed. So, Krystianer, he saw the fast Nexus. He knows how greedy MaNa is. So the game becomes punish the greed. We have to punish the greed here. Stargate opener, it's going to be an Oracle. So Adept Oracle here out of Krystianer. Both Adepts and Oracles are ideal when it comes to killing workers. And that is our goal here. For the near future, at least. So Krystianer is moving out across the map. MaNa going to be chilling out back at home, going for his hallucination scouts. And with this scout, he will get eyes on the Stargate. And he may even opt to go Phoenix first, as MaNa also went for a Stargate himself. Yeah, hallucination confirms the Oracle. So we can make a choice, and we can go Phoenixes as a hard counter. Yeah, the Oracle, it's being chased down. There it is. Phoenix is on the way for MaNa. Again, just a really good decision. Just really good scouting out of MaNa. The Phoenix will shut this down. Adepts, they don't quite shade into the main, but they do shade into the natural. They get 2 probes. 2 probes go down. Oracle dives into the main base as well. Probes are falling as well in the main. 5, 6, 7 probes in total. Very nice damage here. Getting an 8th probe in the natural as well. And we are stuck with the second Oracle. This Oracle has a much harder kind of avenue here. Can we get more probe kills? We shade into the main base. We're going for the probes. It's going to cost us everything. We do get 12 probe kills. The Oracle lying in wait, yet to reveal itself. Remember, MaNa doesn't know that a second Oracle was made. Likewise, I'm not so certain we saw the Oracle of MaNa. We saw. Okay. Krystianer is getting ready. Shield batteries on the way. MaNa's moving out, which means what do we have at home to defend? We have 2 Stalkers. Yeah, MaNa, no call with his pants down. He was ready for this, and he will shut down that Oracle. Brutal loss. A brutal investment. But Krystianer has a massive worker lead. All he has to do is survive. Easier said than done. Can he hold? Can he defend? Overcharge is forced. And Krystianer, he chases this down, gets the sentry. But he loses 6 probes in the main. Oof. I say 6. 7 probes, almost 8. Oh, gets an 8th, gets a 9th. Oh my god. 9 probe kills in the main. And Krystianer is being pulled apart. MaNa not stopping, not slowing down. Gets a shield battery. Uh-oh. Does get the shield battery. Krystianer in a lot of trouble. Again, he's down in Stalkers. We have 10-4. Boys are being pulled. They have to be. MaNa, he's so close to breaking Krystianer. Remember, MaNa, he lost so many probes, he's all in. MaNa's all in. Krystianer, he's just trying to buy time. Gets a Stalker. Krystianer, he still has a worker lead. He's crazy. He's chasing this down. Okay, we pull back. Shield battery's done. MaNa coming back in. Krystianer, he almost has blink. Needs a little bit more time. Yeah, it does force the overcharge, gets the Phoenix. And Krystianer, he's holding. He is holding. Blink is now done. Another Oracle gets in, but Blink is revealed. A little bit premature there. As we can focus down that pylon, we depower the shield battery. With Blink, though, yeah, Krystianer, he should be able to hold on. It's going to be close. Oh. So far, good links out of Krystianer. God, the Stalkers, though, they're getting very low. We do need another warp in. Oof. As it looks like, yeah, Krystianer, he is going to be able to hold on. Cleans this up. As I say that, the Oracle comes in to clean up the Stalkers. Krystianer blinks to the low ground. Shield battery saves him, and he holds. He barely does hold. Krystianer, he still has a 10 probe lead. Chases down the final Stalker again. The blink micro was clutch. It was very clutch there from Krystianer. Barely avoiding those shots, retaining those Stalkers as long as he could, kept them alive. Krystianer flexing his blink micro. And now he's taking a third. And remember, MaNa was pretty all in. And because he failed to kill Krystianer, he had to kill Krystianer then and there. Because he failed, now he has a worse economy. He doesn't have map control anymore. Third base is being taken from his opponents, and MaNa stuck on 2 bases. As we mentioned in Game 1, Immortals are on the way. They have to be. The same purpose as Game 1. We have to make up for our Stalker deficit. Adepts get in. They force a recall. Very nicely done here. As the Adepts recall as well. But that does give MaNa some breathing room. He has some room to breathe. He's building up that Immortal count. And MaNa, he throws down 2 more gates. Instead of a third, 2 more gateways get thrown down. As MaNa moves out, Adepts move in. No. We shade into the main base. Probes are falling. I mean, MaNa was already all in anyway. Probes are falling left and right, and he's pushing forward with everything he has. What do we have to work with? We have 4 Stalkers, 2 Immortals, a couple of Force Fields. Sentry gets focused down. The Immortals are doing a lot of damage, but they have so little support. There we go. The Prism comes in. We have a couple of reinforcements. We're diving on the Prism. An expensive trade. We get the Prism in the end. And time, it's working in Krystianer's favor. The boys are being pulled. They have to be. We only have a couple of Stalkers left. And you can see these Immortals gain so much value, but we have a defensive Immortal. It's going to be focused down. The Immortal falls, but MaNa, he's running out of units. Good target firing, though. And he's going to get most of these Stalkers, but he bleeds out an Immortal. Down to 1. And you can see how much value he gained with this push, but the final Immortal falls. MaNa rebuilding that Prism. He's still all in. But he has to reset that Immortal. Or that Immortal count has been reset. Has to start it from scratch. He's in trouble. He's in quite a bit of trouble here. Meanwhile, MaNa, more shield batteries, more pylons. Getting back into Immortal production. Or Krystianer, I think I said MaNa. Krystianer getting back into Immortal production. And pushing up this ramp, it's not going to be easy. Krystianer, he does pull back though. Does retreat. Has to respect the Adepts. Does have to respect them. Blinks on forward. Dives on the Prism once again, but the Adepts, they do commit to the shade. They get into the main. Quick reaction out of Krystianer. He warps in just in time to body block the Adepts. They don't get into the mineral line. Mortal is focused down. Krystianer, this defense is not over, by the way. MaNa. He's so aggressive. He's so close to breaking him. But the Immortal, it's gonna fall. There's only so much it can do on its own. GG gets called. We have held. And Krystianer will take the series 2-1, advancing on to the semi-finals. GG. GG, well played. Krystianer does take it. I mean, I did favor him coming into this, but a big shout out to MaNa. I was very curious how they would compare to each other. And again, MaNa has some beautiful proxy defense in game 2. Was able to deal with it. But in game 1 and game 3, it did feel like Krystianer was a slightly faster player overall. He was able to gain quite a lot of advantages himself, gain quite a lead, and able to snowball out of control both in game 1 and game 3. And with that, Krystianer advances on. MaNa is knocked out of the tournament, but this is not the last we've seen of MaNa. I'm sure we'll see plenty of him in the ESL Open Cups, in online events, not just in that, but maybe even in the next H.4.0.S Open Cup as well. I hope so. I hope we see more MaNa. I said before that MaNa, he's a little bit less active in these events. He is a little bit less active, so I would love to see more of MaNa against some of his countrymen, against players like Krystianer, players like Geralt, players like Papi. Would be amazing to see.